There are things that don't bother neurotypical people that cause chaos in neurodivergent people's lives. For example, when it comes to somebody being on the spectrum, a lot of us have to do things within our routine. A lot of us can't handle a mishap or something being rescheduled or something going wrong in our day, especially when we planned it out to a T. Yes, we can make room for things to happen. We can make room or try to understand when things go wrong. But for a neurotypical person, let's say somebody canceled plans on you, or traffic is just extremely crazy that day and you didn't plan for it. Usually for a neurotypical person, that is just fine. It doesn't bother them. It is what it is. But usually when it comes to somebody that's neurodivergent and you plan for something to go right and you have the schedule set out, but then there's 5 car accidents on the way to your destination and it leads you to being an hour late, something that you didn't plan for. So now you're questioning and downing yourself and feeling bad within yourself and overthinking the entire day because of this one mishap that for a neurotypical person, it didn't bother. But for you, this is something that's going to affect you for the rest of the day and probably for the rest of the week. This is what bothers me. Personally, like I've told you guys, I'm in college now, and there's been 2 times so far where my professors have messed up. And let me make this clear before I say what I'm about to say. People have the right to mess up. People have the right to have mistakes. People are human. Things happen. I don't expect people to always be perfect. I don't want you to expect me to be perfect. But my problem is when I come to you as a person and a neurodivergent person saying, hey, this has caused me chaos and distress and trauma. And then you respond in the most nonchalant way, like, okay, I'll just fix it. Like, for example, I got an email saying, hey, you received a 0 on an assignment. That, remind you, I've never seen this assignment before. I don't even know what it's about. I immediately go into my workspace and I look it up. And the assignment's there and I clearly received a 0 for it. And so I emailed my professor profusely apologizing, pretty much making my professor seem like I'm the most inadequate person in the entire planet so I can get a redo on this assignment that I didn't know fucking existed. And then it's just like a class announcement comes out and it's like, oh, hey guys, the assignment was wrong. And if you got a 0, the 0 will be taken away. Now, I know for face value to a regular person, that's not a big of a deal. Like, oh, you had a problem, the professor fixed it. Yes, that is correct. But it's the point of the build up until the professor fixed it. It was the self-doubt. It was the panicking. It was the anxiety. It was the wondering, how could I miss this? The questioning of, when did you slip? Why are you acting this way? What is going on? The anxiety attack that risen inside of me until the solution. For a normal neurotypical person, they could just send an email to their professor and say, hey, I got a 0. Can I retake it? Or can we have a discussion, and just leave it at that? For somebody that's neurodivergent, you have to replay that conversation 20 times in your head, wonder how you can come off so sincere that this person can help you out while you're panicking that you're about to fail this class and mess up your entire future of college. And then for you to go through this internal trauma of something so minuscule to the neurotypical brain that it makes it so big to somebody that's neurodivergent, then you have a neurotypical person come to you and say, hey, it's fixed. It is what it is. Go on to the next assignment. And then it made me think about how this happens all the time in just real life. There are times where neurotypical people show up and they can just brush shit off and just have things happen to them and have things mess up their schedule and have no second thought about it and just move on and not think about the inconveniences that happen to their lives. But me as a neurodivergent person and other people that are neurodivergent or on the spectrum, it's hard for us to have situations that go wrong or mess up our plans because it literally will mess up the day, the mood. I'll wake up and think, oh my God, I'm about to have an amazing day. And then I'll run into 3 bad people. And now my entire fucking day is just destroyed. My energy meter is destroyed. I'll be put in a situation where I think I can handle it and I can't handle it. And I feel like I'm dumb or inadequate for the rest of the time. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying the things that a neurodivergent person feels, a neurotypical person doesn't feel. That is not true. Like, neurotypical people can feel the exact same emotions that we as neurodivergent people feel. But the problem is that neurotypical people don't realize that we feel these things 100 times crazier, and we also feel them on a daily basis. Like what a neurotypical person might experience, like a neurodivergent person, they might experience it maybe once a week, once a month, once in a blue moon. But to wake up and to constantly have this chaos and anxiety and overthinking when something minuscule happens to us every time, and not have the world understand what is truly going on, and not understand the process that is happening in our heads, is exhausting. Because there will be a time where you're communicating with somebody and you think they understand the panic that you are under, and they really don't, or they just don't see it as a big of a deal or as important to them as it is to you, so they don't give you the response you need. And that's where I come in and I say that society needs to conform, because you can't say people need to live the way they need to live and people can be whoever they want, and society will accept you for as you are, come as you are, as you say. But then when I show up and I show you I'm panicking, I show you that the reason this is happening is because of neurodivergency, and you don't understand, or you disregard me, or you just are nonchalant and don't care, that doesn't help somebody that is on the spectrum and is trying to live a life in a society that is built for neurotypical people. That is not how it works for us. We have to work 10 times harder to make a regular interaction regular. Like, we have to work 10 times harder to make a neurotypical person understand how we feel and why we are so anxious and why we are overthinking so much and why we feel this panic inside of us over something that is so fixable. Being neurodivergent or on the spectrum is you constantly, for your entirety of life, trying to have control over something that doesn't have control. And so when we make routines and when we make schedules and we make plans for ourselves, it's not because we have like OCD or restrict. It's because sometimes planning out your day and planning out exactly what you're going to do at the exact moment brings you calm, brings you peace, knowing that, okay, if my day goes like this, it will be a great day. And it should be small, planning out where I'm going to eat, or what time I do classwork, or when I go to work, or whatever. But it's not. It takes a lot of energy. And especially when you think everything is going to plan and everything is going to be okay and everything should be an easy day, and minuscule things come in and mess it up. There's no understanding of why I feel this way when I run into somebody that's an asshole, or why I feel this way because traffic put me back an hour in my schedule. People just look at you and think, oh, you're weird, or you're doing too much, or you let people get to you. And it's not that. It's the point of, I'm trying to control something so important in my life that I can't get right. And when I can't get it right, I expect to have that grace. I expect to have that understanding and compassion of why I feel this way. That understanding that you as a neurotypical person don't understand that I feel this way. But you can at least try to listen or be more compassionate when it comes to a neurodivergent person asking for this grace, asking for a little bit more empathy, especially when we have put in so much time and effort and thinking, literal thinking, to make the situation better or perfect. And in both of these situations I'm talking about, I wasn't even the issue. Like I said, humans are allowed to make mistakes. Humans are allowed to mess up. But if I come to you a certain way when I mess up and come in the most sincere and trying to express to you this trauma that I'm holding, and you respond back with, oh, it is what it is, it's just kind of like a shot in the face, because what you don't realize as a neurotypical person, for the last 5 hours when I was waiting for you to respond to me, while I was waiting for whatever the solution was for the scenario to happen, that's all I was thinking about. That's all I was doing. That's all I was trying to figure out, was how to make a better solution, how to be better in the future. If, questioning myself, doubting myself. And in that entire time for you as a neurotypical person, it was just, okay, this is the issue and here's the solution. Brains in this world do not work the same way. The way you think, the next person would not think that way. Just like how one body is different to the next body and how one race is different to the next race. We have to live in a society where we realize that not everybody we show up to or talk to or come in contact to are going to have the same ideologies, have the same mindset, and have the same lifestyles that we do. So if you are in contact with somebody that's neurodivergent, you're neurotypical, be more understanding. Give grace, have that compassion, have that understanding that what might seem like nothing to you might be the biggest deal to that person that is neurodivergent. It's not easy to live on this planet as anybody, whether if you're neurotypical or neurodivergent. But when it comes to those people that have maybe a harder time than the next person, just try to give them that grace, because we are trying our hardest to conform to your society. So we expect that if when it comes to our spectrum, you conform as well.